So I'm back and it is day 4 and I'm doing a little bit of playing around with the color of orange. And for today's prompt, well, this is what I have decided. For today, the idea is to blend orange into a sunset. I kind of saw this on a short very briefly about 2 weeks ago. And I figured if I was going to do this, I would probably come back and do this. But now I'm going to do this kind of fly by the seat of my pants and just see what happens. So I've chosen the colors that I'm going to blend with. And what I'm thinking about is this blue is going to be water, and it's going to be, I guess it's going to come up to about here. And I am probably going to cut the bottom of this off. So that's fine. I will talk about why I'm going to do that. This is very much a practice exercise, which is perfect for a journal, I think, is to have these things kind of be a little bit practicing. I'm going to see what happens. I might very well have to redo this. I am getting blue paint all over me, and that is for sure. I'm just going to put a drop, and I'm paying attention while I'm doing this to what kind of colors I'm putting together. We've already discussed that orange and blue are complements, and you see that I have put them farther apart from each other and put colors that I think that they will blend with nicely in between. And there's a reason for that. And I've put the orange like at the very center of this because this is a sunset, and I think it's going to be, at least in my sunset, the most part of this is just that's going to be the orangest part of this, is where the sun is at. It's going to be orange or yellow. And so I've put that there, and I've put blue down beneath. I'm going to actually start with the yellow because it's the lightest color, and I'm just going to go across. I think I've already gotten, I'm going to get my brush a little bit wet so this paint spreads nicely. But I did think about how I wanted my colors to combine. I've put this kind of purpley red here in the center. This is quinacridone violet, so it's going to mix with this, and I wanted to lighten that up a little bit. I don't have any lighter purples, and that's going to mix with this blue and make kind of a violet blue. And I just kind of want to keep working these colors in together. And that is to make a gradient of color like you would see in a sunset. And I've put the white in between just to kind of give this an opportunity to make these lighter and lighter colors. And this is Prussian blue at the top, mixed with aqua, mixed with violet, if I had to do this over again, I would use less paint. However, I'm really loving how pretty this purple and the orange are together. So that is a thing we have learned from this as well. One, less paint is sometimes more. And also, I do need to keep this. I'm on a timeline today. I usually am just kind of like, I am going to put in as much time as I possibly can into this. But today, I just really can't. I need to kind of, I don't have as much time as I usually have. And so now I'm just going to go and put in the blue. And so I said at the beginning of this that I'm probably going to cut this down before I put it into my journal. And the whole reason is composition wise, this is going to be my skyline and this is over water. And that's fine. Except for, I mean, it doesn't really follow the rule of thirds, so I do probably want to go ahead and cut this down so that this is maybe there and then that. This is not exactly what I was expecting to happen. But we have given it a shot for a day, and that is really all we're doing. And I do love the orange. The orange is the best part about this whole thing. The sky up here, not super fan. I am going to actually try and add a little more yellow to that sky. And when I do that, I am going to clean my brush since I'm going into a darker color. And I'm going to add this yellow. What do we expect this yellow to do? This yellow is pretty transparent, so I'm just going to add it really kind of where the orange is and where the yellow already is. And I don't really want to add it into the purple, because again, I'm really concerned if I add it into the purple that it's going to, so we'll add a sun there. That's what we're going to do. Of course, when I mix it into the blue, it's going to make green. But now I have a green sky. What do you guys think? It looks very stormy up there is what it looks like. And maybe a little bit like Aurora Borealis going on. I kind of like it though. I am going to get a smaller brush. Not everything I do always works out, guys. Sometimes stuff doesn't work out, and that's okay, because really with this, like I said, I saw this on a YouTube short, and I was really impressed by the way they were mixing the orange in. But also, this is just a practice piece. I did not go back and watch the video before this. and see what they were doing. This is just going based off of my recollection of what I saw. Oh wow. I can actually see this yellow sun in here, and when I look, I cannot see it at all on the camera. Great. Okay. Well, there's that. Because what I do remember about this was that the orange completely blended in to the sky by the time they were done. Completely blended in. And they had just like, I mean, they did very much what I was doing. I'm going to go back and watch it after this and see what this is. But I am also going to just post this as my day 4. This is not supposed to be a super... Oh, I kind of like that. That kind of gives... This is very abstract, but I do feel like this kind of gives this impression of sunset a little bit. Because what I really need is some lighter colors. And it's very interesting. And again, I mean, one of the reasons I think that it's interesting is that I can see a very distinct orange yellow sun in the center of here, and it does not show up at all. I might try and fix this on here, but that's just totally and completely wild to me. I really love like when there's lavender in the sunset. And I just did not pull one out. Red and white and blue, and we could have lavender, and I'm gonna try it, guys. I'm gonna try and see what kind of a color I can get out of mixing this quinacridone violet and this teal, and then maybe a little bit of this white. You know? Oh, this is great. Maybe just a little bit of white. It's a very nice lavender. Okay. This is also a very moody color. Maybe a little more blue. Maybe it wants a little more red. I don't know. This would be very pretty with watercolors too. These are not the most and I think where I have kind of made clouds, I think I'm just going to go where I think kind of the bottom of the clouds are at and kind of make a little bit of a line at the bottoms. This lavender color. And again, you know, so they look like little clouds. And then maybe I should go over the top of them. Ooh, this is actually, I mean, I have no idea what I'm doing here. For the record, I'm playing with these colors and I'm doing this, and I have not watched a tutorial on how to make clouds. I'm just kind of trying to repeat what I think I have seen in the past with the clouds and the sky at sunset. And I like this purple color. And then I'm going to go over the top of this with a little bit of white, I think. And see but I'm gonna say, you know, I don't want to get too much. I mean, I have very much kind of played around with painting a little bit here and there. And I am not a professional painter, okay? I am learning. But I'm just really trying to think about when I've seen sunset before and what it looks like. There's a little bit of water, a little bit of stormy sea. I am going to kind of put a line right here in between. I think there's a name for this where it kind of lights up the water. I like that. Okay. And now I want to pick up just a little bit of white. And the thing with the white is like, see, that's very transparent. And I probably could go and get like an opaque white, but I am going to try and solve this problem. I want this to be very see-through. I don't want it to be like super like covering everything. So I want this to be kind of dry. So I'm kind of trying, I want this to be dry. So I'm going to try and wipe some of this out. And then when I think it's dry, and I don't know if it's dry enough, honestly, I'm just going to go back into these clouds and kind of, these are kind of, you know, again, clouds have names, and I don't know. These are suggestions of the clouds in the sky during the sunset. And I'm trying to get this so that it's kind of, and you could put some yellow in here, you could put some blue in here, and I think that would be good. Pick up a little bit more, and I'm just trying to set this down on top of where I've put in the purple. And this is probably going to be darker, honestly, but it would be like closer to the sun. Lower in the sky is where you want the like brighter colors. So that's not super great. I can probably pick some of that up. And then like here where it's like really lighter, that should be up higher. Okay. So maybe I want to get, I wonder how much paint's on here. I wonder if I can just pick some of that up with that. It's got a little yellow on it still. I don't know if you can see that. I can certainly see. This has got a little bit of yellow. And so maybe while I'm doing this, just to make it match, this brush does not work the same. Sorry, I'm kind of rushing here. I do feel a little bit like I'm gonna rush here. Take a deep breath. I don't have to rush through this. And we also don't have to be tied to the idea that, like, you know, every piece of artwork that we do is going to be super, super, you know, the best piece of artwork that we've ever made. This is 99% not having done the preparation that I should have done before I sat down to do this, which leads into the brushing, right? But we're here now, so we might as well just enjoy the process and see what we get. And if we can kind of, well, we can learn. What can we learn from this besides, you know, I mean, do our research, figure out what we're doing before we decide to demonstrate something. Because we should be getting a little bit of peacefulness from just trying to make clouds and sky and sunset. And this is for sure not perfect. But also, I mean, there's some really interesting parts of this painting. And that's what we're going to take away from this, is, you know, we're doing this to relax, and I do feel a little bit more relaxed because I've, like, said to myself, calm down. We don't have to make this into something perfect. We've done clouds. Which, I mean, honestly, considering that I think I have done clouds before, and it was a very long time ago, and I didn't figure out what I was doing before I did this, and I think this is really not bad. In the whole scheme of things, I think I just discovered an island over here. You can see it kind of sticking up. I think that we can sail towards that. That would be great. And I do like these clouds, honestly. I think that there could be a little bit more blending here. I did get a little bit gray. And I wish you could see the sun. That's just crazy to me. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out this orange colored pencil that I've been using, and I don't know what's going to happen here, and just use it to make a little bit more definition in this sun, because it kind of bothers me that it's there, I swear, and you guys can't see it. I do love sunsets. I love the colors. I guess this could also be a sunrise if you're more of a sunrise person. Great place to find the color orange. I am going to finish this painting up because I have already put more time into it than I have to. And this was, I mean, I think this was a pretty successful endeavor for just getting some paint out and relaxing and trying something, because I mean, I am pretty intrigued by how these clouds look, and I do like the sun, which you can kind of see there, and I do feel like there's some sunbeams. I do think that there needs to be a little bit more blending here and a little less just gray sky, although maybe this is just a cloudy day. Anyway, that is my attempt at blending a sunset for this, and I'm probably going to speed up this process in order to have it not be a 6-hour video where I show you this. That's what I'm doing for my artisan journal prompt today, and I hope you like it. And tomorrow I get to play with the colors that I think match the best with orange, and so that'll be fun, and I'm looking forward to exploring more orange. And I'll see you then.